Michelle.
Hello!
Robby. We decided to make some videos about how we cook some of our food. You guys know that we're artists. I paint and draw, he makes pottery.
I play in the mud.
But we love to cook, and you guys seem to like our posts on Facebook and our food pictures, and everyone's constantly asking us, how did you make that? How did you make that? So we're going to show you.
Our food doesn't suck.
No, it doesn't. So we're making homemade wild mushroom ravioli. It's a bit of a project, it's a process, but it's totally worth it. So I guess the first thing to do is tell you what I've done so far. When you're making homemade ravioli, it takes a long time to make, and you don't want to do anything too fast. This is not something you're going to get off of work in the evening and have it done in an hour for dinner. You want to take your time, and I spread it out over 2 days before we want to eat. So we want to eat tomorrow for Thanksgiving. This is the real Thanksgiving.
I want to eat it now.
This is the real Thanksgiving. We celebrated Thanksgiving last week, so we're gonna do it again.
Post-Thanksgiving, pre-Thanksgiving.
So, when you're making homemade ravioli, the first thing you want to make sure you do is give yourself 2 days. So like I said, we're gonna eat tomorrow. So last night, before I went to bed, we have strained some ricotta. You want to strain the ricotta because you're gonna get about 3 or 4 ounces of whey that comes out of that. You don't want your ravioli filling to be too wet. It'll compromise the integrity of your pasta that you make. You don't want everything falling apart in the pan when you cook it. So make sure you do not skip this step.
Use cheesecloth and a strainer.
And a strainer. And set it in the fridge overnight and just let it drain.
Strainer looks like a sword fight strainer.
And then I also went ahead, I'm using frozen spinach. You can use fresh, it doesn't matter, but frozen spinach is just easy, it's
fresh
fine.
spinach will probably take a truckload to get what you have right now.
So I pulled out the frozen spinach last night and we let that thaw. So last night before we went to bed, strained the ricotta, pulled out the spinach to thaw. So today we are going to make the filling and the dough. And then everything's gonna rest overnight, and then tomorrow morning we get up, we eat breakfast, and then we get to assemble 200 ravioli. So the first thing, oh yeah, I was talking about the mushrooms, the wild mushrooms. These are black morels.
They're wild, that's what I forgot about them. They're
Yeah, Robby and I hunted for all these back in the spring. We don't get them by the truckloads like you do up north in like Missouri and other places. These mushrooms, don't know if you see them. Wild mushrooms, wild black morels. And we are going to also be using my favorite mushroom, which is the black trumpet. The black trumpet mushroom is my absolute favorite mushroom. I'm going to show them what another trumpet looks like.
And these are gourmet mushrooms. These are not, oh man, I'm seeing colors mushrooms.
A lot of people think they don't like mushrooms, but unless you've had a wild mushroom, you really haven't tasted what mushrooms taste like.
All you've tasted is what's that, canned button mushrooms and crappy portobellos.
So we have our dried mushrooms, we dehydrate them, we store them in a jar. They last as long as you don't eat them all. We try to pick enough for a year so that we can have enough mushrooms for the next year.
It's wet. These were wet. When these were wet, how many pounds was this?
Gosh,
like
I want to say we passed the 10-pound mark.
I think it was 11 pounds when they were wet.
10 or 11 pounds of mushrooms fit in this giant jar once they're
oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
dehydrated. So yeah, all you do to rehydrate them, you just soak them in water for a little bit. They plump right back up. So that's what we're gonna start with first.
After you eat them, you plump right back up.
I usually just start with a couple handfuls of each. I usually make too much filling, so we're actually gonna double up and we're gonna make 2 things of pasta dough. So always make too much filling. we're just gonna grab a couple handfuls of these, dump them into a bowl. Like, why don't you turn on that scale right there, and we'll just show them about how much weight-wise. Just hit the on button there.
Let me turn it on.
Set it down. Set it down. Tear it out. Put our mushrooms in there. Couple handfuls. Let's see, what does that weigh? 0.9 ounces. Let's do a little more. We'll probably end up making about 200 ravioli out of this. But these are gonna plump up pretty good. Let's do 1.5, let's just say 1.5 ounces of morel.
Oh, that's a big one. That's offensively big.
Yeah, 1.2, 1.4, 1.5. All right, there's 1.5. Do that for me.
Always want to cap your jar off of your dried mushrooms, because otherwise you're going to start absorbing moisture again, and then miles and miles of hiking and going to crap.
Now we're going to pour some trumpets in there. Trumpets have a stronger flavor, in my opinion, than a morel. They're very fragrant. They smell so good. I love the way they smell. If I ever got to pick what my last meal would be, it would definitely have black trumpets in it. Well, let's do 2.5 ounces of dried mushrooms. So, just so you guys get an idea, I don't usually measure how many mushrooms that we put into stuff, but just to give you guys an idea of how many we rehydrate at a time. Bloop. So we have our beautiful mushrooms. We're just simply going to dump them in a bowl, and Robbie will fill them up with water.
Oh, yeah.
He's gonna fill that up with water. And then while he's doing that, and those are rehydrating, I'm going to take my
Using
ricotta.
cold water, not warm water.
I'm going to take my ricotta that we've strained,
Never use warm water.
and we're just gonna dump it in this bowl for right now and set it to the side in the fridge. So there is our strained ricotta. You probably can't see that liquid in there, but I would say there's a good 3 or 4 ounces of liquid in there that we've strained off. So that would have been in the filling. You don't want that in the filling. It makes it too mushy. It'll make your dough fall apart. So you always strain your ricotta. And another thing we're going to strain is after the mushrooms are rehydrated, we're going to strain them too, because I'm going to save the broth from rehydrating. We're going to save that mushroom broth for tomorrow when we make the wine sauce to go with our meal. You can use, you know, heavy cream and stuff, which we will use, but I just like to have that extra depth of flavor of the wild mushroom by using...
Man, that's good.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Using the stock or the broth in your wine sauce. Now, let's see. Those are rehydrating. I also like to put a little onion in our filling. We love onion. So we're going to actually put our wild mushrooms. We're going to have garlic, onion. This is a huge onion. We're probably only going to use half of this onion. Our box of spinach, triangle of Parmesan,
It's hard not to eat the whole thing by itself.
and a couple eggs. Usually when you're making a small batch, you just use 1 egg, but like I said, we're gonna probably make a big double batch, so we're gonna use 2 eggs. So if you wouldn't mind chopping up about half of this onion, I'm gonna go ahead and turn
Oh, I
on
mind. Jeez.
I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the stove. We're cooking cast iron around here. It's about the only thing we cook it in, so I'm gonna go ahead and
Teflon sucks.
turn on the stove, and while he is chopping up onion and the mushrooms are rehydrating, I'm gonna go ahead and cook the water off the spinach. We just wanna we don't want extra liquid in there. Could have strained that too. It was frozen yesterday. I like to pre-cook everything. You gotta pre-cook the mushrooms before you put them in filling. If the morels and they're not cooked thoroughly, you might not feel good.
Feel a little farty.
So he's gonna dice up half that onion and shred me some cheese. I'm going to start cooking the spinach. So a couple of years ago, we decided one year for New Year's, everyone does.
Which one?
Probably just this one. We don't need a whole bunch of onion. We'll save that other half for something else.
Love the onion.
A couple of years ago, we decided for a New Year's resolution that we were going to start learning to cook more of the foods that we love. Whatever we decided we love the most, we're going to learn to cook it from scratch. It's been fun doing this. We have not stopped doing this. We've made dumplings. We've made egg rolls. I've made traditional Danish pastries, and it's so much fun.
Turkey's boring. We were actually going to have duck, but we did not get there.
So we decided we're going to have ravioli for Thanksgiving this year. So the first thing we decided that we wanted to learn how to cook was homemade ravioli and lasagna. Make our own pasta doughs. It's been a lot of fun. You can dice it up and put it on here. Yeah, just dice up onion and garlic and put that on there. And I'll get this spinach cooking. I like to cook the spinach by itself, set it aside, and then I'll cook the onions by itself, set it aside, and then I'll cook the mushrooms by themselves, set it aside. They can all go in the same bowl, but I just like to cook them individually, so you can really, I feel like it makes the filling taste better that way, when everything is cooked separately and then put together. So what we'll end up doing is we'll cook each thing individually and then set it aside to cool. And before we mix it with the cheese and the ricotta and the egg, we're going to put it through a blender and puree it. It's gonna make it easier for filling the ravioli, and that way you don't get like big chunks of onion or big chunks of, like, everything is pureed together at that point, and it's gonna make it way easier to fill your ravioli.
Onions are making me cry. It's okay, it's spicy.
I'll put this up into something.
Actually, this is not making me tear up that bad.
It's a little strong, I can sense it. It's not as bad as they usually are. It's not the right lid. So with this amount of ravioli, we'll end up freezing a lot of it, and then that way you can just have it to eat any snowy day over the winter. Have it ready to go. That's one of the nice things about taking the time to do this. Like I said, it takes 2 days to
Yeah, the onions are right in my eyes now.
Yeah, it takes about 2 days to piece all this together. And so you might as well double the recipe and make extra. If you're gonna spend all that time, yeah, those are strong. If you're gonna spend all that time, you might as well have plenty so you don't have to do it again for a while. It'll keep really well in the freezer for a month or two. You'll eat it before it goes bad, trust me. Everybody's gonna be blowing my phone up asking if there's any extras left, I know it. Is there extra? Can I have some? Sure.
Nope.
Nope. Yeah. We shared last time we made it. A couple of you have had our ravioli, so.
Do we have any mints of garlic too?
Yes, please.
Gotta
Okay,
do
you wanna-
everything. God dang.
If you want to use the garlic thingy, you don't.
We'll mince them, chop them, dice them.
Just put that in a pile to the side because I'll cook down the onions. We'll add the garlic in there at the last minute so we don't cook it to death.
Mm-hmm. Runaway garlic.
Just letting that spinach get all the water out. It's steaming it out right now. I just put it in a dry pan so it'll cook the water out.
Yeah, 2 for 1.
We love garlic. Onions are strong.
Work with me, garlic. Siamese garlic here. What the hell is going on? It's like a garlic within a garlic and a garlic. It's a turducken garlic.
Another thing we'll be adding to the filling is some dried parsley.
And love.
And love. Yes, and love. We love parsley. We grow a bunch of it.
I love that garlic.
It's one of the easiest things to grow. Dehydrate it. I think I've got like, that's enough garlic.
I had to
That's
get rid
enough.
of half the cloves.
Seriously, that's enough. They're
Well,
huge.
fine. Garlic racist.
You don't want to put so much garlic that it takes away from the flavor of the mushroom. You got to keep in mind we got like 200 ravioli to make, so we are going to use like 4 big cloves in it. He does all the chopping because I'm left-handed and he makes fun of me for taking forever. It takes me a long time to chop things. He's better at it than me. So
Chef's knife.
don't cut your finger on screen.
Fingertips in, knuckles out.
I'll show you. Our mushrooms are rehydrating in a bowl of them here. They're plumping back up pretty good. They don't take very long to plump back up. Maybe just a few more minutes and then I'll strain these. And then Robbie will probably just quickly go through them and probably cut them in half, you know, check for leaf stems or pine needles, or I mean they come from the forest, so you're gonna have.
It's like any vegetable or anything you buy from the store. If there's a bad spot on your onion, cut it off. If there's a bad spot on your garlic, cut it off. Don't put it in your food.
So we're just gonna go through the mushrooms and make sure that there is no twigs or rogue pine needles or anything like that, because that would not be fun to bite into.
Old dried little salamander, not salamanders, there'll be worms. You get a worm in there every now and then, a little centipede, a little millipede, whatever the hell they're called. They look like snakes, but they got legs.
Up here. So I'm going to use this bowl for putting in put my spinach and my onion and stuff as we cook it into this bowl. And we'll mix this part of the filling together, puree it in a blender, and then we'll mix it with our ricotta and our egg and our cheese. So you can tell the spinach has almost got the water out of it. You don't want to like cook it to death. You just want to get most of the water out. Another minute or two, and that'll be good enough. It's almost done. Spinach has the water cooked out of it. Alright. Now we're going to take the onion, just the onion, not the garlic yet, just the onion.
Onion.
So we got our onion in there. I'm gonna add just a little bit of butter to it. It's not gonna add a lot of moisture, but it will add some flavor. I just pulled this out of the freezer, so it's a little hard. You don't want to brown it up too much, but you want it to start to go translucent a little bit. And I'm going to add just a pinch of salt to the onion. Just a little bit.
Pinch.
Coming together. And then as they're starting to turn translucent, then we're going to add a little bit of garlic. We just don't want the garlic to burn, so we really just want to throw it in right at the end of the onions. We're just getting out excess moisture out of the vegetables right now. Out of the spinach, out of the onion. Oh, that smells good already.
It's our onion air freshener.
Okay, go ahead and add the garlic.
God damn, that smells good!
Alright. So, we've got the onion translucent and the garlic is starting to release some of its flavor. We're just going to set that aside. In the bowl with the spinach. Turn my eye off. Excuse me. And then what I like to do, after you do that, I just put a little splash of white wine in there. Because we're going to cook the mushrooms next, but we got to clean them first. They're pretty clean. We're just going through them to check.
They're all feeling like they're about there. I start picking out the most soft ones to go through first and let the other ones that are harder keep rehydrating. It only takes about 30 minutes.
So,
It'll be good after.
should we give them another 10 minutes?
They're feeling pretty soft. I mean, you can give them, I'd give them another 10 minutes. You're not going to like disintegrate them. They're not going to turn into mush. All they're going to do is just get it a little bit softer. I'm going to clean them, put them on these drying racks, and then let the water get out of them again. And
Cook them.
you're basically turning them back into what they were when you pulled them out of the forest. Clean the mushrooms. Chop off the ends, split them down the center. Open them up. Make sure they're all nice and neat and clean. Another bowl to shake off the rest of the dirt. Yes, water helps. Dip them in the second bowl, shake off that excess dirt, and keep on going. And see you in about an hour.
Yes, this takes a while to do. I wondered why you grabbed that bad knife.
That's a bad
I was gonna
knife.
tell him I pulled out some Asiago too, so I bought a thing of Asiago and a thing of Parmesan. So while he's doing that, I'm gonna start shredding these up. I'm gonna use about half of the Asiago and a little more than half of the Parmesan. You wanna save some to top your ravioli with. So while he's doing that, I'm gonna shred some cheese and then we get to cook the mushrooms. So we've cleaned out our mushrooms. Good thing we did find a few pine needles. The trumpets, the way they're cup shaped, they're notorious for getting little bits of leaves and stuff. You see how dark the water got from rehydrating in them. We're gonna strain it.
Oh yeah, it's gold.
All right, and if you don't want to deal with the broth or the mushrooms broth, just chuck it outside under a tree. Don't pour it down your sink. Give it a chance to maybe grow again. We're gonna get all these tiny little bits and pieces of sticks or pine needles completely out of our broth. That's pretty broth. We could probably pour that in a mason jar, maybe. You want to find me one, please? All right, so we're gonna pour this in a mason jar. We're gonna use this tomorrow when we're making our wine sauce. And I'm gonna heat the pan back up and we're gonna start cooking the mushrooms to add it to the spinach and the onions that we've already cooked the water out of. I just like to put a big pat of butter in there too. Butter doesn't hurt anything. Shoot. Let's see if it's gonna spill.
I can do it.
No, you can't.
1, 2, 3, go.
Wow. All right, yeah.
Commit.
That's,
Just
yeah.
commit, man.
That's good. Good deal. So there's some mushroom broth for tomorrow.
It's Coca-Cola. Just go ahead and put some ice on it and drink it. Yeah. Don't drink it, silly.
You'll still have to cook this broth. But when we deglaze our pan tomorrow after we make our roux and our wine sauce, it'll get hot enough that it'll be thoroughly cooked. But we're gonna save that. That's black gold.
It's a jar of liquid mushroom.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Just like chicken broth or anything else.
Oh my god, I wish you guys could smell this. Just scratch your screen, smell-o-vision.
Yeah, just lick your screen. If you're in public, lick your screen. If you're at the library, lick your screen. It's okay. People won't judge you, I swear.
That thing doesn't cut for
Nope.
nothing. All right, so we're gonna save that and put it in the fridge until tomorrow. Also shredded up our cheese, and after we cook our mushrooms and get them pureed up, the cheese and the egg and the ricotta and the mushroom mixture goes all together, and then our filling will be done.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's lovely, very, very lovely. All right, so we're almost done with the filling part. Pan's heating up. And then we're going to cook these bad boys down. Basically, we're just cooking them to come to temperature because you always want to cook wild mushroom. If you've never had wild mushroom before, and you do get to try a wild mushroom, make sure it's cooked thoroughly. And the first time you eat wild mushroom, just eat a little bit.
Don't go to town.
Just eat a little bit. Wait a day or two. Make sure that you are not one of those unlucky few that are actually allergic to mushrooms. I know at least one person that they just, doesn't matter how good they cook them, they are just allergic to morels. But probably out of 1,000 people, I only know one that is actually allergic to them. So if
It's a
you
very sad story.
it's rare, but each person can be different with sensitivities and stuff. It's also why when you go to a restaurant, and keep this in mind, if you ever go to a restaurant and there are wild mushrooms on the menu, ask them where they got them. Make sure they've come from someone that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they've seriously just
Oh, Ted down the road, he got them out of his garbage can. They're cool. It's fine.
just
No.
ask your server, ask your chef, where'd you get the wild mushrooms? Make sure they've been cooked thoroughly too. This isn't just something you can throw on a salad just right now. You would get sick.
Yeah, don't go picking them off the side of a road or a highway or a sidewalk or.
Yes, and if you do find wild mushrooms, get them deep woods. Don't get them where there's a bunch of transportation and cars and oil spills in the road, and like the mushrooms are eating their surroundings. So if the surroundings are gross, don't eat the mushroom.
Don't get mushrooms sponsored by Exxon.
All right, gosh, those smell so good. All right, let's see if we can get these in a pan. We're gonna cook the water out of them just like we did. Oh yeah.
Morels first.
Oh, I'm just gonna put them all in the pan together. It'll be fine to put all in the pan together. Give the morels a second. They're more, you want them to cook really
You can
well.
take this and you can chuck this piece of paper towel right here. You chuck it in your backyard.
You can bury it in a hole. It's mushroom food. It'll
It'll
grow.
disintegrate, and the paper towel
grow.
becomes food for the little spores here. And you can chuck it over your neighbor's fence. See how he likes that. He whines about it and be like, well, in 15 years, maybe you have morels, so shut up.
Oh my goodness, they smell good already. All right, let's see. We're gonna get Robbie, the cameraman, to bring the camera over so you can see these cooking in the pan. They smell so good already. All right, so we're cooking our mushrooms, our black trumpets, and our morels. I'm just gonna try to get the water out of them. I actually like to cook a little bit of wine, cooking wine in the mushroom too. I just think it adds a depth of flavor, so I'm actually gonna go ahead and pour the rest of that in. It's just a couple tablespoons, maybe a 1/4 cup of wine.
Get them tablespoons in there.
Oh man, it rounds out the flavor profile.
It
in my
subdues
opinion.
them.
Well, it just adds another dimension of yumminess to the meal. We're also going to use a little bit of salt. Salt a little bit as we go. We don't want to over salt things, but we do want to enhance the flavor by having a little bit of salt in there. And these are going to cook at like a medium high. I don't know, 10 minutes or so, until they start to cook down a little bit. When mushrooms start to cook, you can smell them. Like you can, like the same way you can tell when like a cookie that you're baking is done, because it smells like cookie. Like when these start to smell really strong as they're getting cooked, they're getting cooked. They're getting done. So we're just gonna let them do their thing for a minute. Set about 10, maybe 15 minutes at medium high. You don't want to burn them to a crisp. Sometimes we like crispy mushrooms on top of burgers or something, but this is going in our ravioli, so we just want them to be cooked thoroughly. And then we're going to let them cool and add them to our onion, garlic, and spinach that we've already cooked the water out of. So we finished cooking our morels and we added it to the spinach and the onions and garlic. And this is what you're gonna have. It's delicious. It smells so good. I want to eat this so bad already, but I won't. Now we gotta puree it so we can add it to our ricotta and eggs and cheese. You don't want no big chunkies in your ravioli.
Thanks to our friends Jeff and Laura for our Ulster Galaxy blender circa 1970.
It's that 70 something.
Still runs. I'll flash a picture of that and the mixture here in the video.
Yeah, we like our old stuff. It works.
Our 40-year-old refrigerator, our 30-year-old washer and dryer, our 50-year-old blender.
All right, well, we're gonna do a little bit at a time here. Hopefully this isn't too loud. I was gonna drizzle just a tiny bit of olive oil in there. That'll help it go. Just a little bit.
Meanwhile, the blender caught on fire.
It just took a second to get it all chopped up because it's so thick. Remember, we got all the moisture out of it. It did not catch on fire.
There wasn't any flame, just smoke. And where there's smoke, there's never fire.
Okay, so we got our ricotta cheese out, all the shredded Asiago and Parmesan. I got an empty bowl, and I'm gonna go ahead and scramble up 2 eggs in the bottom. Thank you.
The cabbage.
Compost
Sure.
for Wide Load. The possum, our possum's name is Wide Load, so.
Many, many years ago, we brought a rescue possum up here. Our friend Laura brought a rescue possum up here, and it has stayed here and eats basically everything.
He
That
eats
we
at a really good restaurant.
He also eats bad bugs, ticks, and all that kind of crazy stuff in your yard. Possums are awesome.
All right, we scrambled up our egg.
Awesome possum.
We're gonna dump our ricotta in. Break it up a little bit.
Oh, that's nice.
All right, I'll take this out of the way, please, sir. Yeah, it's amazing there's any pottery in here at all. So we've got our puree. Ew, it looks gross. It smells delicious. We're gonna add it to
I'd use that as a facial.
a cheese mixture.
I can take that cap off the bottom when you get the rest out.
Yeah, if you'll help me get the rest of that out, please. Start mixing this together. I got a little spoon here if you need that.
I don't need a little spoon. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. We don't need no stinking spoons.
Yep. I made a ton of filling again.
Yeah, bottom's a little warm. Gee, I don't know why. Possibly because of this seaweed here at the bottom. It's okay though. Take off our awesome little split gasket there. Yeah, my hands are clean. They're gonna be even more moisturized.
All right, that's good enough.
No, hell no, you don't gotta waste an ounce of this. Shoot, there are starving yuppies in California that would just kill you.
Okay.
There's more. You just get in there and use your hands. It's awesome. I hiked many, many miles for these mushrooms, and I'm not letting a damn ounce go.
Okay.
All right, well, that's good enough.
Add our cheese.
On a key note, immediately rinse out of your blender, otherwise it turns to concrete. Wonderful smelling concrete.
Maybe one day we'll end up with a food processor. That's what we really need. Alright, there's all the cheese. I'm gonna add parsley from our garden. Get a handful of it. Watch for stems. Always crackle it up in my hand just to make sure. No Sharpies. All right, let's stir this up. And the filling will be done. After I get this stirred up, we'll cover this up with some plastic wrap. And we'll set it in the fridge until tomorrow. You can see how thick it is. Super thick. All right.
Don't lick the spoon.
Yeah, there's raw egg in it now. I mean, I could, but we're not going to. Cover that up. And then next is the pasta dough. Get to make the pasta dough next. We're gonna get this kitchen just reorganized a little bit. And then we're going to walk you through a recipe I came up with for the pasta dough. And that'll rest in the fridge overnight. And then tomorrow, you get to assemble everything. This is actually the hard part of making ravioli, especially when you have like wild mushrooms and fun stuff. Looks good. Awesome.
You look good.
So we made our filling for the ravioli, washed all our stuff, sanitized the counter. This recipe is one that I came up with after trying 4 or 5 recipes that I didn't like. Well, I liked them, but you know, I'd like one thing about a recipe and one thing about a different recipe. So we tried making this 3 or 4 times, and then I kind of tweaked everything. So this is my recipe that I've tweaked from other recipes.
You've not had pasta until you made your own pasta.
Until you make your own pasta. That's right. We got a scale here to weigh out stuff. You want to make sure that the unit is on grams. If you've never made ravioli before, you want to make ravioli from scratch, get a scale, weigh out things, be consistent. That way, if you mess up, you kind of know where you messed up. If you're just throwing things together, you don't know if you got too much flour or not enough flour or whatever.
Unless you're a 90-year-old Italian grandmother, you can't do it by hand. Yeah. Get your little E-Tech City scale. I think it's 20 or 30 bucks.
So here's the recipe I got. We're gonna use.
Flash this up on the screen later.
So we're gonna start with 400 grams of flour. Some people just use regular 00 flour. I actually use a combination of both. 00 flour is really fine. Like confectionery sugar. The semolina flour is firmer. I like to use them both. You get a nice elasticity with the semolina. I feel like it holds together better when you're rolling things out. It doesn't fall apart as easy. But the 00 makes things soft. So you wanna hold that for me, handsome? So we're gonna do 200 grams of each. So I'm just gonna pour some in there for right now. All right, go ahead and start doing that. Keep going, keep going, keep going. I want 200 grams of 00 flour. All right.
Almost.
Almost there.
Keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming, come on, oh shoot, sorry.
I don't need to get sued for using a song now.
Come here, Toad on the back porch.
Just a few grams off. All right, we're getting there.
Shimon. Whoop, 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 what?
Oh, okay, that works.
201. Oh, redo it.
201's fine. Now we're gonna do 200 of the semolina. So your scale should read 400 grams.
This is unbelievably heavier than the finer stuff, obviously. 402. Yep, do it again.
That's fine. We're just gonna kind of mix them up a little bit so they're all mixed together. So we have our 400 grams of dry flour. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and dump that straight on my countertop. And I like to just use the bottom of the bowl and kind of do like this to make a well for eggs in our liquid. All right, so 280 grams of liquid. I'm gonna do 3 whole eggs and 2 egg yolks. So we're gonna first start with the 3 whole eggs. And we're gonna weigh 3 whole eggs. One, 2, 3. Boop. Okay. And now we're gonna use Robby's little egg separator that he made like 2013.
Oh, isn't that silly?
And 2 egg yolks. The reason I do it this way is because I like that golden yellow color you get in pasta. So
Egg separator sold separately.
I'm just gonna add 2 yolks. Use our little egg separator here. Works pretty good.
You can take the yolks and throw them at your neighbors.
We're gonna use the yolks.
Oh.
Alright, so there's 1. Bloop. Do it again. It's like a big booger.
That's farm egg right there. That's farm. You're getting into the farm eggs now.
All right. All right. We're just gonna leave that sitting here because we're gonna make 2 batches of dough.
Wash your hands. Good Lord.
All right. So we're at 224 grams right now. 1 tablespoon of olive oil. And then we do 1 teaspoon salt. All right, 242 grams. So we need 280. So we're gonna add water until we get to 280. All right. So now we have 280 grams of our liquids plus a little salt. Then we're gonna put it in our well carefully. Just like so. Perfect. Oh my God, it's gonna be so good. Turn off our scale. Send that to the dishwasher. I'm gonna take a fork. And you're gonna, these eggs mixed up. And then we're gonna slowly incorporate flour from the edges as we work. And you just, the egg will kind of grab the flour. And you just go around a little bit at a time, grabbing more flour. Starting to come together. You just keep working your way around the circle. Add more flour each time. Go around. It's starting to come together now. Let's see how it's doing. This takes a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Scoot it back if it gets too big. So keep on keeping on.
Like you've not tasted a noodle or
Yeah.
you've not had pasta
Until you have
ravioli,
real pasta.
You're just not. When you make this and you first bite into it, it's just different. Dried noodles in the stores, it's just no good. And most people that make pasta by hand, they don't dry their noodles. They don't hang them up and dry them. It's fresh and go.
Now, if you wanted a dried noodle, you would just use semolina and water. You wouldn't add egg to it.
Which is also awesome.
And we'll do a video one day of that.
It's a good way of storing your noodles.
Robby makes wonderful pasta shapes. It's
clay you can eat, so I'm pretty good at it.
It's clay you can eat. All right. It's getting there.
I'm good with my hands.
Another reason I weigh it out like I do is you don't want to add too much flour to your dough. You can always add a little more, but you can't really take it out.
Just like salt and anything else.
So it's the reason I weighed it out like this is because I figure you're gonna turn out the dough a little bit on a floured surface and you don't want it to get too floury. This is pretty right on the nose, I found. It's coming together good now. I should be able to start incorporating the rest. And then we're gonna knead the dough, strengthen the gluten, roll it up.
Oh no, the G word.
Yeah, gluten's your friend. All right, we're getting to where I could probably start doing this by hand. When it gets stiff like that with the fork, you just have to dig in. See how it's coming together now? Just folding and incorporating, folding and incorporating. If you do it right, you shouldn't have to add anything to it, but you know, if you watch a bunch of Italian grandmas in Italy making it, they don't measure anything because their weather changes so much. They literally can tell by the weather what they need. They just, if it needs more water because it's arid, they'll add more water. If it's really humid, they'll add more flour. See how it's starting to come together now? Oh, this feels beautiful. Once you start making dough a few times, you really get a feel for it and how it should feel. If you've ever made biscuits, you know, you fold over, fold over, fold over. It's starting to come together pretty good now. Every little bit of that flour up. All right. And we're going to...
No, that's looking good.
That's looking good. It's just a teensy bit sticky, but that's okay. You can add just a teensy bit more semolina, just to kind of keep it from sticking to our hands on the counter. Just a little bit on the side here. Patty it out, flip it over, turn it, patty it out, flip it over. It's this push and pull, creates this gluten in it. You want to do this a few times. Really get it mixed together, and you'll notice as you're doing this, the gluten starts to do its thing. It gets firmer, it gets tougher, and that was about perfect. Give this a few more pats out, and then I'm gonna wrap it in plastic wrap tightly so it doesn't lose any of its moisture. And we'll roll it in the fridge. Handsome, if you could get me a piece of plastic wrap. Now you don't have to let this rest overnight. Like, you can make the dough in the morning and you really just need to let it rest about an hour. But I'm gonna let it rest overnight because that's a lot of work to do in one day. So we're gonna let it rest in the fridge overnight. Good. And then I'm going to make another batch because that was a lot of filling. The last time I made that much filling, I think we made 4 batches of dough. But we're going to do at least 2 tonight, and then I might freeze the rest and save it for lasagna another time. So when you got like raw egg refrozen like that, you just want to let it. You don't want to, you know, I'd make it within a month or so. Like, it'll be fine. I'm gonna roll this up. Make sure edges are tight. You don't want any of that moisture to come out.
Second piece.
Into the fridge it goes.
Oh, beautiful log.
And then I'm gonna do it again. Okay. We made our second log of dough. We're done for today. We made
2 logs of dough.
2 logs of ravioli dough and a ton of filling. So everything's gonna make friends and just chill in the fridge overnight. The dough's wrapped up in plastic. The filling's wrapped up in a bowl with plastic. And tomorrow, after we get up and eat breakfast, which I think I'm making sausage balls for breakfast.
Around here we call it brunch.
Yeah. Then after breakfast tomorrow, we get to do the fun part, which is roll out the dough and stuff the ravioli. See you in the morning.
Go to bed.
It's past your bedtime.
It's past your bedtime.
Okay, so we're gonna fill our ravioli. We made the dough yesterday. We made the filling yesterday, and I've already got it in this piping bag here, ready to go. Got some 00 flour here in the sifter ready, and then I've got a cold pan of semolina flour. I just sprinkle a bunch of semolina flour down, put it in the freezer so it's nice and cold. As we make the ravioli, they're just gonna sit there and firm up a little bit. It'll keep them from sticking. So these things are awesome. It's totally worth it to get one. You can make ravioli without one, but it makes it a million times easier. So definitely, if you like making pasta, these are worth the money. Then we've got our little cutter here. It's a dual cutter. It's got a zigzag edge and a straight edge. And we're gonna, I guess, one thing you want to remember to do is you want your roller to be lightly dusted with flour. So I'll just go around it just a little bit, turn the handle, and just kind of get light dusting on that wheel so when your pasta goes through it, it doesn't stick. And then I'll also, as the sheets come off, we're gonna lay them here. So I will just do a light dusting of flour here to go over with the pasta before we fill it. So let's see how our dough turned out. This is about to untwist itself. Set that back in the fridge for a second. Get that out of the way. All right. So here's our dough we made yesterday. We made 2 logs, double batch. Oh yeah, that's pretty. That looks good. All right. We can set that to the side. We might drape that over something later. All right. This bad boy unrolls. Oh yeah, that's perfect. It's a little sticky, but that's okay. Like I said, you can add a little more flour, you just can't really take it away. So we got our dough. Looks nice. Looks really nice. All right. Start with a little bit at a time. You want to make sure your pasta roller is on its widest setting. Mine's 1 through 7, with 7 being the widest. So I'll talk about going down to about 2. Some of them, they're opposite, where 1 will be the widest and 7's the smallest. Just put it on the widest setting, and we're going to take a little bit of dough at a time. Looks good. You can kind of see. Get real close to it. There's your dough. Great. Sit that there for a second. Keep this covered up so it doesn't dry out. We'll work with them one piece at a time to show you how we do. So when you first cut it, you just want to fold it over. You want to kind of work it in your hands a little bit. You want to work it in your hands for about 60 seconds. Just to check for tackiness, see how tacky it is. Sometimes it'll seem tacky at first and you think you need to add more flour, but if you just keep working with it, folding it over, it'll actually kind of resorb back into itself, and this is perfect. You don't want it sticking to you, but you don't want it too floury. This is looking pretty good. Just fold it over a few times, get a nice rectangle. And we're gonna make our first pass through the pasta roller. I'm gonna take just a smidge flour, just a smidge, just on either side. And we're just gonna make sure it's not gonna stick. If you notice it starts to stick as you're rolling it out, just add a little bit more flour. So that to where it'll fit in through slot number 7. We're on number 7 right now. And I'm gonna run it through number 7 quite a few times, folding it over, folding it over, folding it over. It'll make the pasta tougher. Talking about that gluten. All right, so you're just gonna have a piece about like that. Feels good to me. And slowly let the pasta go through. You don't want to go really fast, especially in the beginning. Perfect. Again, Fold it in half. Do it again. I like to do it about 3 or 4 times on the thickest setting. It really starts to get the integrity of the pasta built up that way. Fold it over, rotating it. I'm gonna send it through this way now. I'm just gonna do this until the pasta starts to come out a nice sheet. It'll start to feel like it's got good integrity. We'll fold it one more time, send it through, maybe twice more. You want to try to get a nice wide sheet. One more time. As you go, you don't want it to take up the whole width yet, because as you go thinner, it's going to get wider. About like a deck of cards. All right, I think that's going to be the last pass.
You want to bring that over here so you can show everybody what it looks like?
Yeah, as we go down to the next one. All right, so now I'm going to go, all right, so you can sell it toward just a little bit right there. It's no big deal. Just a little more flour. This is why it's okay that the dough is sticky in this state, because you're going to add flour to work it through here. It just keeps you from adding too much flour. We're getting somewhere. All right. So now I'm going to go to the next. I'll go to number 6. Drape over the back, and as it drapes over the back, it's going to pull and stretch the pasta out. So you want it to drape over the back like that. Oh yeah. Do it again. I like to make 2 or 3 passes on each setting before going to the next setting. Bring it down to 5. Keep going. Drape. Now we're starting to get our sheet of pasta. Just help it along. Fold it in half, actually. Now it's getting pretty thin. If you decide to fold it in half, I'm just really doing this to help my shape. Really want a nice rectangle shape. If you fold it in half, go back up to the notch before, so it'll fit. Do it again. There we go. It's starting to get more of a uniform shape now. Sometimes I'll just fold that edge over too. Do it again. It takes a minute to get it going, but each pass that you go through, it feels better and better and better. We're starting to get a nice sheet here. That's where we folded it over. It's okay. Let's keep going. All right, we're gonna take it down a notch. Helps to sprinkle a little flour on there each time you get thinner so you don't tear your dough. I think we're gonna go about to a 2. I think that's what we did last time. I think we went all the way down to 2. It pops out. All right, I'm gonna fold it in half one more time. If you fold it in half, you go up a notch. I'm just trying to get the most rectangular shape I can get. You see how each time we get it, it's getting more and more rectangular. Oop. Okay, there we go. Getting a good sheet now. All right, so going back down. I think we're on 5 right now. We're on 5. Okay, keep doing this. We're on 4 right now. There we go. Our sheets are getting nice and uniform. We're getting down there. It's a good sheet. I'll go to 3. Might have done 3 last time. I don't remember. I just don't remember if we did number 2 or number 3.
Yeah.
I think it was 3. This feels good.
It's been, like I said, 2 years, I think.
It's been about a year since we've made it. This feels great.
Oh, that's pretty.
That's perfect. So we're just gonna kind of lay it right here. Sprinkle it with just a tiny bit of flour. And get our filling. I'm gonna show you a couple different ways to do it. This is probably one of the easier ways. Take that off, it's in the way. All right, so we're just gonna fill up the ravioli. You don't want them so big that you can't, that there's too much filling and not enough dough. All right, let's see, here we go. So we're gonna fold it over. We'll start with right here. I'm gonna put a pretty generous helping of filling. Maybe a teensy bit more. And we're gonna go down the line like that. Smudge more on that one. See if we can get 2 more out of this here. These are going to be, when you make them about this size, you're only going to need like 5 to 6 ravioli on a plate for a meal, especially if you have a side. I like to keep that cold, so put it back in the fridge. And then we're just going to flip this end over this end. Try to go all the way to here. All the way up. Fold it in half. You're gonna have a little bit of extra flour on there, that's okay, we'll brush that off. All right. And then around each ravioli ball, you wanna find where it is. There's one, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one.
Did you use water to seal them up last time?
You don't have to, but we're not going to this time. I just take my fingers like this, and I kind of cup down around where that filling is, trying to get the air out and pushing gently. There, perfect. Again. Would you grab me a fork? just don't want any air in there, so you just try to get all the air out and use your cupped fingers to go around that dough. See? Working our way out and down the noodle strip here. And they don't have to be perfect. If they're not exactly the same size, that's okay. They will taste delicious either way. If you tear one, it's okay. Patch it up, go on to the next one. So, this is probably one of the easier ways to make it. Okay. Then this is the fun part. You get to cut them out and decorate the edges. I just like to make sure it's sealed really good. And we're just gonna make half moons around it. Like that. And we're gonna go around each one. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just going slow, so it's a little slidey because of the flour, so I don't switch hands. Slightly ambidextrous. Okay. Okay. Save all the scraps, set them to the side, and then you can just add a little bit of water to it and have some more. All right, so we got a ravioli. Now I like to make sure they're sealed really well just by going around them, taking a fork, careful not to poke where your filling is. And just half moon it like that. So here's your homemade wild mushroom ravioli. It's okay if there's extra flour on the back, or we're just gonna set it right there. And we do each one like this. I'll probably make a couple rows like this, and then we're going to make some smaller ones, like maybe some square shaped ones, maybe some tortellini. Robby loves tortellini. We've actually never made the tortellini, so I'm actually going to attempt to make tortellini. Shape, it's a little different shape. You just want to make sure these are sealed really good. Not only does it help make it look pretty and make sure that it's sealed, but these little ridges will hold a bunch of sauce. I like the half moon shape or half sun shape. I think they're nice. That's a big ravioli. Like seriously, 4 or 5 of these with some green beans on the side, some wine sauce, would be plenty. I didn't make any bread. I figured with all this starch here, we wouldn't need any bread, so. And around again. That's a $5 ravioli right there. I'd pay $5 for that. There's probably $5 worth of morels in that alone.
Yep.
All right. All right. Now we do it again.
We'll do a lighter sprinkle this time.
No, it's actually fine. It's okay if it's a heavy sprinkle because we're working right now. You don't want the dough to get sticky. The excess flour will fall off. And you can brush it off lightly before you cook. Now here's when you go back to this part. Don't forget, go back to your widest setting. You send it through there, and it's thin. It'll tear the dough apart. And then we're gonna do it again. Get a piece. Not very big piece. It's a big piece. That'll make a long strip. So it doesn't stick to your hands. Again, fold it. See if you can get pretty close to it and see how it's responding. It's holding the dents that we leave in it, the impressions that we leave in it. Just do that a few times over and over and over again. Layering up the dough, we're helping make it tough. We want it to hold when we boil it. You want it to be nice and tough. This is just helping toughen up the dough, beating up the dough. Fresh pasta dough cooks really quickly. You know, this, if we were to throw that in a pot of boiling water right now, it'd be ready in 3 minutes. Take it out, put sauce on it. We're gonna end up, we're making so many of them that we'll end up, we'll just go ahead and put them in the freezer and get them frozen up. They can go straight from the freezer into a pot of water. You just have to add a couple minutes of boiling time. It'd be like 5 or 6 minutes opposed to 2 or 3. So, all right. Make sure we're all ready, and we're gonna start passing through again, and we're gonna make a second sheet. Do you need to stop because the phone's ringing?
That's yours.
Oh, that's my phone ringing? I don't know who was just trying to FaceTime me, but I don't do that crap.
We have the technology, but our phones are not as good as our internet.
No, sorry.
It never really works anyways. It just looks like some grainy old TV show.
It's weird. I refuse to live in the future.
We just got internet for the first time in 30 years.
Yeah, in 20 years you can FaceTime me.
So yeah, wait another 30 years, and when it's, you know, actually works like the commercials, we'll do it.
All right, like I said, just fold it over, keep going, fold it over, keep going. If you notice it's starting to tear the dough, add a little flour. You can rotate how it's going through the machine, which will also help you get your rectangle shape that you're looking for. The first time we did this, I couldn't get a good rectangular shape. It takes a minute to figure out the machine, how it feels, how it rolls. But you'll get it. Like I said, even if they're not pretty, they're still gonna be absolutely delicious, and that's the only thing that matters.
Yeah, they can look horrible, but it's gonna taste wonderful.
It's gonna be so good, so you'll like it either way.
I can throw that whole sheet of dough in a pot right now and just gnaw on it, and it'll be great.
You can use this for lasagna, you can use this for spaghetti. I do have a spaghetti and fettuccine attachment, but I don't know that we'll show this on this video, but you get the idea. All right, we've passed through pretty good on 7. Let's fold it over one more time, get that shape back. Rectangular shape. There we go. I'm getting happy with that. All right, make it smaller. Each time you make it smaller, just a little bit of flour. Keep it from sticking to the wheel or itself. We're on 6 right now. It's going smoother and faster now. 6. We're gonna go down to 5. Actually, that's 5. Yep, we're on 5 now. Do 5. Just reach in there gently and grab it. The doug's tougher than you think it is, but you also want to kind of be careful with it. Just try not to get your fingernails in it. You know, just use the sides of your hand, sides of your finger. You don't want to tear it. If you tear it, you can fix it. We're getting there. All right, down to 4. Do 4 twice. Yeah, this is a nice long sheet. If the sheet, like right now, if you were like, okay, the sheet's out of control, cut it in half. Just cut it in half. We're gonna try to make a really long sheet.
Holy sheet.
Holy sheet, that's long. All right, we'll do number 3. That's a nice long sheet right there. I'll be able to fill that up good. All right, here we go. Just drag it across this flour because you don't want it sticking to the countertop. All right, that's a nice sheet right there. Take that out, 'cause I know
2 foot long.
it's pretty good. All
Good
right.
Lord.
It gets easier the more you do it. And then we're gonna do the same thing again. Clean up this edge a little bit. That's a little wonky right there. You can do that. Just stick it in your scraps. You can add water to this and kind of reconstitute it. And we're gonna do the same thing again.
Really hard not to just squeeze that right in your mouth.
Well, it's got raw egg in it, so.
Don't want to do that.
You can tell I'm putting them in the middle. I'm putting them a little further up than down on the sheet of dough. Get off there. There's another one. You can use a spoon to do this, but I promise you, it'll take you twice as long. Just buy some piping bags.
Or a Ziploc bag, cut the
A
corner off.
Ziploc bag, yeah, something. This is easier. But that's also why we puree everything, because it would be too chunky. I mean, you can see that's a chunk of mushroom right there. So you try to make it easier to pass out through the nozzle here. Okay, we'll do one more there.
No, that's a big one.
That's a big one. It's okay.
It's okay, I will eat it.
It's okay if they're not perfect size. You just want them kind of the same.
Don't be perfect with pasta. It's okay.
And we're gonna do it again.
Look at that mess.
Fold it over. You can use water to seal these if you want. You don't have to. We did that last time. And then one time I didn't. And honestly, if you add like the fork shape and you just make sure you do it really good with your fingers, you don't need to do that. But you can if you don't trust your sealing job. Okay. Start down at the end. Do the same thing. I just cut my fingers like that. Get a little flour on them. I just washed them because I had some filling on it. If you can see what I'm doing, I'm just kind of using my pinkies to push down and seal around each one of these. Don't worry about the extra flour right now. We'll brush that off. Go down through each one. Just making sure you get the air out and sealing them. Firm but gentle.
Ba-ba-ja-ja.
Firm but gentle. Oh my goodness. I cannot wait to eat these. So we're also having with our dinner tonight, because I was like, okay, we're going to need some vegetables. Like I said, we're going to have some green beans. It's not like green bean casserole like you guys are making, which I do love, by the way. But I just like some really good, like they call them French beans. They stay crispy. I kind of flash fry them in the cast iron. And I'll actually add a little bit of bacon jam to them and some almonds, a little bit of Asiago, cranberries, walnuts, just make them fancy.
Bacon jam, most awesomest thing ever.
Get some flour.
It is what it is. Bacon jam.
All right, let's see here. Just making sure they're not really, I don't want them all, don't want them stuck. If you do have one that's stuck, just gently do like that. It'll loosen. All right. And do the same thing. We go around each one with our little zigzag cutter. They don't have to be perfect. They look perfect to me. Come here, you. Isn't that beautiful? That's beautiful. You're beautiful.
You look pretty, pig.
You're a real pretty pig.
You're real pretty.
That's how you win an argument around here. You're real pretty.
Oh, well, thank you. Oh.
All right, see, that one's not perfect. Don't care, gonna be delicious.
That's the great thing about making your own pasta. You can make any kind of shape you
You
want.
can. Have fun with it. We're gonna do a different shape next. I think we'll try. This is actually, we made circles and we made half moons. I think this, we'll try some squares, and I'm gonna attempt tortellini, which is,
We've been watching YouTube.
we've been watching a lot of cooking shows. We love cooking shows. Do you guys like cooking shows?
Who doesn't like food? Crackheads. That's
All
it.
right. Almost done with this. I've got some real Italian friends on my page. I hope they aren't sitting there shaking their heads going, oh, no, 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 you're doing it all wrong. I like it this way. I think it's good this way. Saving our scraps. Go around, close the edges. We'll have to get Valerio over here and see if he likes my ravioli.
If you can get him out of his restaurant, he sleeps there practically.
I know, he lives at the restaurant. They haven't been over. I don't think they've been over since he opened the restaurant. I'll keep Valerio so busy, I don't get to eat his food at my house anymore. I could have brushed that one off. That's all right. Let's give it a little sweepy sweet. This is meditative part of the process. You can just kind of get lost in what you're doing and forget how much time has passed. That's a big ravioli, man. So let's see, how many ravioli did we get out of those 2 strips we just made? We only made, what, a fourth or a third of our log of dough. So we've got 3 total 15, we got 17 out of that. We got 17 ravioli off those 2 strips. So we'll probably, I don't know, we might get 100 per. I would say you're gonna get anywhere between 80 to 100 ravioli this size out of 1 log of the recipe dough that I shared with you guys.
Believe me, you'll eat them in like 3 days.
All right, so what I'm going to do now, if we were going to sit down and eat right now, like in an hour or so, I would just let these sit on the counter just like this. And they'll firm up a little bit just with the air before I would drop them into the pasta water. But since we have quite a bit to do, I'm going to go ahead and stick them in the freezer. Still keep them from getting absorbing any moisture in there or getting soggy. Remember, I was keeping my filling cold, so once it gets to room temperature, juices start coming out. This is gonna go in the freezer for right now, and we'll start the next one. We'll try some squares next, but we're gonna take a 5-minute break. Strip of dough out. I've kind of put a small line right there for myself, knowing where about half is. We're going to do this one different. We're going to fold it over. We're going to make some smaller ravioli. We're going to try to make squares. So these aren't going to get as much filling as the other ones got. I'll still get a nice little bit. And only about an inch apart. Clogged with a mushroom. That'll be a yummy one. Smaller, but it'll be yummy. All right. So this time, I'm going to fold it over like this. Brushing off the extra flour right now. It's better to have a little too much flour than it is to have it stick and all come apart. So, got this. And then to help me get a good shape, we're going to try this little guy, which is actually used for making dry pasta shapes that Robby likes to make. We're just going to try to use this to kind of gently go down between them, help seal, instead of using our fingers like we did for the last ones. I'll go in between them like this. Oh, these are so cute. They're so fun to make different shapes, you guys. This would be great for those of you that got kids. Could really play and have a lot of fun with it. Make whatever you want. We'll do this edge. Look at those cute little buddies. Look at that. Oh, if it's stuck, don't worry. Lightly shove some flour under there. It'll come off. There you go. There's our sheet. This way. Go around each one again one more time. Just checking for air, sealing them up. Again, pressure is firm and deliberate, but gentle. You don't want to pop them. You know, this one's smaller and it's got some air. Just go around it individually. I know they got the ravioli attachments you can buy for these things. It sends it through it for you like that. I like having the pasta roller to help me get the dough to the right consistency and thickness. I'm more hands-on. I like making each one. They taste better that way, I think. All right, so we got ravioli, we got 2. 18 right there. You just go down in between them. Trim up this edge. We'll trim the edges after we go down. These are smaller than the other ones we made. More of a bite-sized or 2 bite-sized ravioli, but 2 bites out of these. A little big. Okay. Go down this edge. Thing here. If you push too hard with this thing, it'll slide out from under you, so you have to firm but gentle. Firm but gentle. And then we're going to take all our scraps. Same thing. Save the scraps. Add extra moisture. And then you'll reconstitute this back to what it was. Waste not, want not. See, that's a whole piece almost that we've cut off of there. So you don't want to waste your scraps. Don't waste your scraps. If there's a piece rogue. All right, let me grab my sheet to put them on. Those are pretty, I like those. I'm gonna take a picture too. We're just gonna put them on here. As they start, these have been in the fridge, in the freezer, see? Now they're holding their shape better. You can can actually scoot them over a little bit. You don't want to stack them up like this until they're starting to freeze up or firm up, because then they'll stick to each other and then that's a mess. But we're gonna make some more room now that they are firming up. Make some room on our tray. Those are beautiful. Ooh, look, you're on the phone. Take a picture of me on the phone. And then just gently lay them down here. Aren't they the cutest? Oh my gosh, they're the cutest. Y'all eating turkey. We're eating ravioli. That's what's up. I like turkey. If it's wild turkey, real turkey. I don't really care for the store-bought turkey. It's too dry.
Too hormony.
I don't like it. It's in my albino turkeys. They're those white, overproduced turkeys. I don't like them. This is more fun anyways.
Tortellini, take one.
This is our first time actually making tortellini, and we've got our dough sheet, and then we used a mason jar lid to cut a 2.5 inch circle. These are a little more time consuming, but Robby loves tortellini. He said, please make me tortellini. So we're gonna try a couple. And put a little bit in the center. You're gonna take your finger with a little bit of water, go around the edge. Carefully lift it up, just like this. Fold it in half like a taco.
Taco.
Get all the air out. Brush off the extra flour we have here. The pasta sheets are really thin. I don't want them sticking to the counter. Okay. Make sure it's sealed all the way around the edges. And here we go. You're holding it towards you. Turn that up. Fold these edges around onto each other. Take out the water. And carefully squeeze them together. So there you have a little bite-sized pain in the butt to make tortellini.
Tortellini.
All right, now I'm gonna video Robby making some, because he says he is better at hand building stuff. So
I'm gonna play with the clay you can eat.
his turn.
Okay, I make a tortellini baby. Tortellini baby. Tortellini baby. Little speedy work.
That's good. A little water.
Brush.
Just on the edges. That's plenty of water. Just a little bit.
I'm good with the clay, so I'm hoping I'm good with these shenanigans. Like I said before, that's clay. Now kids, don't go getting fancy with your Play-Doh machines. Up. Turn it around. Take a little dabby dab. Chuck it down.
Awesome.
Damn, I'm good at that.
Oh, good, because you're faster than I am, so please make some.
I
I've
like
made
it.
100 already.
It's so nice. You don't want to go heavy on the water, that's for sure, because that about turns your dough into slop.
You just a little bit of water.
You just want to show it the water. You want to tell it a story about water. You want to say, hey dough, do you remember that time you saw water? And it'll be like, yeah.
You can brush off excess flour.
smack it, stick it.
Oh, you are good at those. Okay, make 100 more, dude. Seriously, I'll roll you some more dough. You can stuff some for a minute.
Oh, I will stuff it.
Cute.
You're cute.
Look how cute they are. Aww.
When I was a kid, it was my most favorite thing to eat because it was what came pre-packed and pre-frozen and pre-seasoned. And
These are
nobody
all
had to,
homemade.
yeah, nobody had to worry about
Extra flour off there.
making dinner. Oop, oh, we have a breach.
Swipe it off.
We have a breach. It's okay. It's okay. Whatever. Bend it, stick it, wrap it.
Yeah, you're way faster than I am at that.
Pinch it.
Alright, I'll get the thing out for you to set the dough on.
Okay. I'm making the ravioli. Nope, tortellini. The whole video was about ravioli. I like hand building with the edible clay here. So I'm making some dang tortellinis. Tortellinis. Using a mason jar lid. Cut out the circles. That's how we roll.
This might go a little faster now because I'm working on the second log of dough now. We made the big half moon ravioli and then we made the smaller square ravioli. And now Robby's, here's my tortellini. It's huge. Here's Robby's. I made mine way too fat. That's more like it for tortellini. This one's a honker, but we'll eat it anyways.
You're damn right.
So he's better at this part, so I'm going to let him do that part. I'll take your scraps. This is our scrap dough. It's pretty dry. So I added a little bit of water to it. Keep rolling it up. We'll knead it out, make sure it's got the right consistency the same way that this one had, and then it might actually have to sit, the scraps might have to sit overnight in the fridge and, you know, do their thing. And then we can stuff more tomorrow. Oh, do you need more filling?
Almost.
Yeah, let me grab you some.
Oh, Parmesan clog. You have a blowout.
Let's get a little spoon. I'll fill this up for you. And you can tell we've used like one roll already. We still have an entire huge gargantuan thing of filling. It's kind of laughable. I'm gonna end up making like 4 or 5 batches of dough. We're out of eggs right now, so.
Oh, my tortellini has too much Parmesan in it. I'm cool with that.
What we'll probably end up doing is making a big lasagna out of it. I think it would make a really good lasagna and just make sheets and just make a really big deep dish lasagna. All right, Hanson, there you go. I'll roll you out some more. This takes a long time, but it's worth it. He's doing that. Teamwork does go easier if you've got 2 people. You can do it by yourself, but If you were to do this by yourself, I would suggest make it about a fourth of what I made for
Take your phone off the
filling.
hook.
Make a fourth of the filling or so, and then 2 batches of dough. Because that's a lot of work for one person to do by themselves.
Man, I'm a tortellini making machine.
I like it how a little more. Oh, that's where you ran out of
Yeah,
stuff.
I know, I was just spreading it out there.
I got you.
You do got me.
I got you,
Boom.
Dave.
I got you, babe. Okay, it's enough.
Stick in there.
Yeah, that's a big old chunk of Parmesan there. Call a waiter and complain.
There's not enough cheese.
There's too much cheese in my ravioli. My diamond shoes don't fit. Man, look at that.
You're getting really good at it.
I'm really good at it.
You are good at it. Keep going.
Hopefully I'm not tooting my own trumpet before I...
As long as they're sealed and you're good.
Sure! Just take it off my finger, put it in there.
I'm gonna need some flour down. Some sheet coming for you here.
Holy sheet. I can't work under these conditions.
You have to work faster.
Well, damn it.
It's all good. Don't take your time. You don't have to rush.
Let's call somebody. Anytime I make anything, it's always like, I gotta rush, I gotta go, I like to do it fast, gotta do it
Not
fast.
order ready yet.
What?
Just kidding. This one's a little cattywampus, but it's still wide enough for you to get some circles cut out of it. I'm about to be coming in hot with the sheet, so. Clear that one at the end, that's okay. Scrap. I'm gonna come on the back side of you and put this one in front. There you go.
Little pockets of love.
Not that hard. This one's probably, on all of them that we've made, this one's the trickiest. Look, if you'd have thrown your scraps away, you'd have thrown away all that dough. So don't throw your scraps away. You make more ravioli this way.
I do see.
Okay, so we're making our roux. I'm melting a couple pats of butter down here. I think I did about 2 or 3 pats of butter. Get this heated up. Take a little bit of flour. The rule is you just want to use about 1 tablespoon of butter and 1 for each tablespoon of flour. So I did about 3 tablespoons of butter, so we'll sprinkle about 3 tablespoons of flour in here. It's starting to get hot. That was about 1.5. And then what we have back here is our mushroom broth that, remember, we strained yesterday after we cleaned our mushrooms. We kept the mushroom broth out of it. That's gonna go in our sauce.
Oh, it's gonna be so good.
It's gonna be so good. I'm starving. I'm hungry. Stay. Wine, and then so we're making a white wine sauce with the morel broth, and we'll add that heavy cream at the end. But right now, this is just flour and butter. We're making a roux. I want this browned up. It's getting there. This is gonna be the base for your sauce. It'll thicken the sauce so it's not watery. I like for it to get a golden brown color. And it's starting to change. Don't want to burn it. Wine.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, it smells good.
You don't do this with just random stuff. We'll have a couple steaks or.
Oh yeah, we love it with steak or chicken. It's about 1/3 a bottle of that wine.
Random meat laying around, you cook it. What do I want to put with it? Oh, I don't know. Make this awesome sauce. But this is even more awesome because we've got mushroom juice.
Yeah. That thicken up a little bit.
I mean, that jar of mushroom, we've got enough of that for probably.
Yeah, what we'll do, since we're going to be
3
eating this a
meals.
couple nights in a row, we'll just make fresh sauce.
Make the fresh sauce every
each
night,
night. You can make, it's just, I think, when you try to double a batch of sauce, you gotta have a bigger pan or a hotter pan.
Oh, your pan is so hot.
I'm gonna add just a little more wine. I like to do about half a bottle of wine in that. Maybe a little less than half a bottle.
Holland House cooking wine.
It's just this is sherry. You can use white cooking
sherry.
wine. You can use marsala. You can sherry. Just cooking wine, whatever.
Got good wine, use it too. What the hell?
Let's thicken up, and then we're gonna add
Oh, that's awesome.
some of this. And you'll notice sometimes I'll put a little too much liquid in our sauce, but it's really just because we cook everything else so slow. I try to time my wine sauces to take about 45 minutes. I know fancy restaurants, and they have the gas stoves and the fancy pans, and they can reduce it really quick and make the sauce in a few minutes, but we're not a 5-star restaurant.
We're not rushy rush folks.
Yeah, we don't rush.
You can use 4 burners and do it like that super fast. But as everybody knows, we don't do anything fast. That's why
Yeah.
we're going to live to 100 years old.
Oh my gosh, that smells good.
It's fantastic.
Add just a little more of this. We want this to it'll look watery right now. We got plenty of this stuff. We'll dump it all.
Yum, yum, yum.
All right, so our sauce cooked down, reduced by half. We add a little cream, and it's cooked down. It's about where it needs to be. We added thyme, sage, white pepper, parsley. Now I'm gonna cook our green beans, set them aside on warm in the stove while we heat up our pasta.
This is how you cook green beans, people.
These are like French beans. They're really crispy. They stay crispy after they've been cooked. Let them brown up for just a second. And then we're going to add a spoonful of bacon jam. Bacon jam is awesome. Okay. This is what it looks like.
Golden goodness.
It's delicious. It's salty, so I'm not gonna salt the beans because it's salty and awesome. So what we'll do is we'll let this brown up for just a second,
Just a second, like you show them the heat.
and then
That's all you do.
we're gonna add to it some dried cranberries and honey roasted pecans, a few bacon pieces,
Real bacon pieces.
and some sliced almonds. So here's our nuts and our berries. That's gonna go in at the end. Berries, like I love putting a little bit of jam in the beans. Gives them a nice caramelization, extra boost of flavor, and helps all the good extra stuff stick to them. I'm going to add a little bit of white pepper. Love white pepper.
And this right here is what we call the shiznat.
A little bit of bacon.
And these are real bacon chunks. You can get them at your local grocery store. You just gotta look for the word real bacon chunks.
Real bacon.
Chips, chunks, whatever
See
you
how
call
it look. jam or bacon jam helps it stick to the beans.
If you cannot find bacon jam in your area, you can also use honey.
Honey,
little bit of
molasses.
honey, molasses.
Yeah, you can add whatever you want, really.
Anything that doesn't suck. I mean,
It's nice and
people be like, I don't like green beans. I'm like, well, you just never cooked them right. And I was the same way until Michelle cooked them because I thought they were gross for years and years. Well, when you toast them up with all this, it's awesome.
Here's all the cheese. Sprinkle some more on there at the end too.
That's a mixture. Asiago and Parmesan. Parmesan.
These look good.
You look good.
These look good.
I'm gonna fry you up in a pan.
Yep, that's good. Alright. Set this aside in the warm oven. Just on warm, just keep them warm. Now we get to boil our water for our noodles. So we'll be back in a few minutes after our water heats up. Here we go.
Blood out.
Did I drop one?
No sacrificials. Thank God.
I'm just gonna give them a quick little stir here. All right, it's only gonna take just a few minutes.
See how they're already turning yellow? It's awesome.
They're boiling. They weren't completely frozen. They were firm, I would say 4 minutes. They're gonna poof up. They'll start dancing.
After you eat this, you're gonna poof up.
I know.
And well, anyone who eats this is going to poof up and fall asleep.
Well, one thing that's nice about wild mushrooms.
Oh my God! Yes, explain this.
Sleep so good. Oh my gosh. It's like they absorb vitamin D and keep it or something because
They do.
when I eat wild mushrooms, I sleep like I've been out in the sun playing all day. Like, it is awesome. Look at those babies. Looking good. Nice and hot. We're just going to lay them in the sauce.
Oh, lay them in sauce.
Oh, God.
Put them home. Lay them to bed. Good sleep and soak.
Yeah, it's a white wine sauce. It's just dark because we use that mushroom broth.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to be gentle with them at this point because they're cooked. You don't want to tear them or poke them. Got 2 more in there.
And notice the strainer spoon that we're using.
It's called a spider.
That's a spider. That's a super spider.
All right, get them all. I got them all.
This isn't something we're throwing into a strainer and throwing under
No,
cold water.
don't.
You don't throw these under cold water. You put them in what they need to be in because they just need to make friends.
We're gonna transfer this to over here. And we're gonna gently give them a toss.
Look at that.
In the mushroom wine sauce. Looking good to me.
If I had a swimming pool full of this, I would totally just jump in it.
Looks good to me. Now my heat's off. It's just the pan's hot from being over here.
The bonus cast iron.
Oh Oh man, God, I wish you guys could smell this. Oh my God, it smells so good.
I'm smelling and I'm filming and I'm trying not to fall the hell over.
Alright, we're gonna pull out our beans that were in there warm.
Yeah, I'll pull all this out and I'm just gonna fall over on the floor because this smells too damn good. Beans.
Alright, I've got some parsley.
Beans. Sorry. I was. Oh God, it smells so freaking awesome.
Look at that.
When y'all take the time to actually do this and make this whole meal, when you're got the time to do it, it's amazing. It's
worth it.
amazing.
You really want like a nice long weekend to do it.
It's a nice long weekend to do it because I mean, half the time you eat food, you buy it from the store, you eat it. Yeah, you get to eat. You don't have the time to actually sit down, make it, and eat it. This will fill you up for days. This looks like a small amount, but this will fill you up for days. Like I'll have probably 4 or 5 of these. We wanted to have 12 each, but I'm gonna probably have 5 or 6 and pass out on the couch because of the awesomeness, and it's so filling. And it's filling in a good way. You're not gonna feel horrible about yourself. You're not gonna hate yourself tomorrow. It's going to be fantastic.
All right. You know what, Handsome? I think it's almost time to let's plate our food. I'm gonna put the beans on this plate. Give this another sprinkle. Some cheese.
Oh, cheese. More cheese, really.
We're gonna do this.
Oh, this is offensive.
And put more cheese.
Oh my God, more cheese. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez, more cheese. By the way, I'm joking. If you're not eating a mass amount of cheese every day, here's a little woman.
Cheese, it makes the love go round.
L-I-V-I-N. Mm-hmm.
This one more up here. We're gonna plate this and eat. I am starving. I've been waiting for 3 days to eat this. Alright, I'm gonna get a plate. So I'm gonna do 12 on each. So there are these beautiful plates here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we gotta make room for green beans. We might just have a saucer that we'll put on the side for green beans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'll set this down here. Put 12 on my plate. It smells so good. Wild mushroom ravioli.
I don't know. It smells terrible. Probably should start over. Really, guys? We need to start over.
I want a refund.
Yep. Some of these no good.
Now I'm gonna open a damn noodle store in town with fresh noodles. Nobody sells fresh noodles. Man, this looks good.
All handmade.
All handmade, all from scratch.
All squeezed
Hours
together
and hours and hours.
by
Then we're gonna take the rest of this sauce because you don't want that to go to waste.
There we go.
More sauce. More sauce. Perfect amount of sauce. I love sauce. I will sop up every bit of this. Alright, finishing touches. Boy, that's a real dark. No, it's a call it a black mushroom. Black wild mushroom. Now don't quit recording because these people are dying to see what these look like. So I'm gonna cut one in half right here. Because I'm dying to see what they look like too. Parsley.
Yes, parsley is awesome, and if you get it raw on a plate at a restaurant you go to and you don't like it, then, well, whatever.
Don't do it, I'm bringing it.
Parsley is awesome.
Oh my God. All right, get down here. What's going down with this? Mmm. Looks yummy. There you go. Coming in hot.
You're friggin' good, man.
Oh God, it's so rich. Let's eat.
Y'all really should not make this. It's terrible. You shouldn't eat it.
Look at that.
We'll have to start over again tomorrow. We'll see you later. Holy crap, that's delicious.
All right, let's sit down and eat it. I'm ready.